So I would like to welcome to Mr. and Mrs. von Gillern, or I usually call them Mbak Hany and Bill, or maybe you guys can call them Mr. Bill and Miss Hany. Will that be okay?
Mr. V.
Mr. V.
Oh, Mr. V. Mr.
Yes.
V.
For Von Gillern, Mr.
Oh,
V.
von Gillern. Oh, okay. Mr. V and Miss Hany. Okay, so Mr. V and Miss Hany are my dear friends. How long have we been friends? I don't remember.
Oh, 2004, 2020? No, 2020, 2002.
When was the first time?
2002. Yeah, when you were still in college.
Yeah, 2002. That means it's already 20 years. Yeah, so we've been friends
Oh
for...
my gosh.
Oh my God, time flies. 20 years. So you are much younger. We are much younger when we first met.
You were much younger. That's right.
I was much younger. So when
well, you are still spring chicken.
You're still a spring
anyway.
chicken. Yes.
Yes. So when I first met them, I was just like you guys right now. So, you know, like in my early 20s. And it's been a blast. So Mbak Hany and Bill, I would like to tell you about this class. So this class is called Language Learning and Acquisition class. Language Learning and Acquisition class.
Wow.
So what is this lesson? Yes.
Question. Can we see everybody like we had before, the gallery?
Oh yeah. Please turn on the camera, guys.
No, can you change the
yeah, I already changed into gallery. Can you see it?
No.
Oh, you cannot see it? Oh, why can I see it? Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, what about now?
We see you.
We see you. Wow. You are big as well.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I did not pin myself. I already put you in gallery. Can you put the view and then put on the gallery mode in your,
yes,
screen?
okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you
there's
have to do
everybody.
that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you have to do that. Yes. Yeah, let me go back to introducing this class. So this class is it's called Language Learning and Acquisition. So basically, in 16 meetings, we discuss about all the theories about acquisition and learning, especially about second language acquisition and learning. So we have discussed a lot of things before this, and this is going to be our last discussion. And in the beginning of the semester, actually, we have discussed some of the things that influence people in their success in learning language. And that's why today, the topic is about individual differences. So basically the factors that makes people unique, that makes people different from other learners. And my idea actually come from our conversations, because, you know, guys, one thing that I need to tell you is Miss Hany and Mr. V, they, before COVID, they regularly came to Indonesia every year. Yeah, every year. And every year, they always so nice to invite me on dinners. And so we have a lot of conversations. And during this conversation, I heard lots of stories, wonderful stories from Miss Hany or Mr. V about their students. And I think it's something that we can also, I want to share it with you too, but I cannot just tell you. So the idea is so that you can hear directly from them. All right. So I hope you can pay attention, and also I want this to be a relaxed conversations, you know, not a very formal discussions, and to talk about students, to talk about experiences in classrooms, and to learn about Mr. V and Miss Hany and their experiences as learners and also as teachers. Mr. V is not a language teacher, he's a music teacher, but he's a great teacher and he has also lots of experience. And I think I just believe that there are connection between music and language, because both also something that as a human we were born to understand, because everybody can enjoy music, everybody has language, and at the same time it's something that probably will be influenced by individual factors, you know, because not everybody can play instrument like Mr. V. You can, how many instruments that you can play? You basically can play everything, right, Bill?
Yeah, to get my degrees, I had to learn all of them besides my formal instruments were piano, synthesizer, keyboards, trumpet, but I had to learn flute, oboe, clarinet, saxophone, baritone, trombone, tuba, string bass, viola, all the to get my degrees.
Yeah. So
And
I think
and I had to be able to play them, not just go, Mary had a little lamb. I
yeah,
had to
you have to
really,
like play all songs, yeah, any songs you have to play. All right, so guys, please hold on. We're going to have probably about 1.5 hours conversations, and later you can check my class to see the assignments and also the attendance, yeah, to do the attendance. All right, I think first thing first, Miss
I don't
Hany.
want to do first thing first. That's Althea.
Oh, see,
Sorry.
there is always
I couldn't
interesting
resist.
thing. I want to hear about that. I want to hear about this kid who said that. Okay.
yeah,
All right.
one of her kids.
Oh, okay. So, would you like to introduce yourself? Because it's not going to be fair for me to tell them about you, because you have so many things to talk about. But first of all, could you please introduce yourself, both of you, to my students here, to understand your background and, you know, your teaching experiences. Maybe, I don't know, who's first, Miss Hany or Mr.
Hany.
B?
Yeah,
Why me?
girls are always first in America. You remember we hold the doors for the girls and, you know, help the girl into the car. Anyway,
Okay.
first.
Okay.
Girls are always first.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good evening from here, friends. My name is Hany. I am an Indonesian. I'm still an Indonesian. My passport's still green. And and did I say I'm from Indonesia?
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did.
Yes.
Okay, I'm from yes, I'm from Indonesia. And what else should I say? I'm married to Mr. V. And when we got married, and then we moved here to the US, and been living here since. And it was 2005 that I moved here. And
We've been married 18 years.
just about, yeah.
Just about.
Yes. Okay, so now it's your turn.
That's it?
That's it?
Well, they can ask. They
can ask
questions.
Okay,
some
you can
more.
ask
Well, you know,
later.
usually we joke in America that women can go on and talk forever and ever. We have to go, you know, time out, stop them. But anyway, yes, my full name is William David Frederick von Gillern, but that's why everybody calls me Mr. V. I have taught many aspects of music at various levels for 35 years. I am now retired. And the 35 years of teaching, you guys will probably figure out my age eventually. As I mentioned, I grew up in the third largest city in the United States, Chicago, right on the Great Lakes in the middle of the country, and went through one of the better universities in the country, taught music to start with. Then I formed a company that I produced music for radio and television, mostly for commercials. And as that became very successful, I was getting further removed from what I loved doing, is scoring the music, working with the ad agencies in the studio, and I was having to go out, and I missed it. And so just long story short, an opportunity came out. I didn't want to teach at college. I didn't want to teach high school. I liked at that time of my life, I wanted you know, the younger kids where there were still hugs. And so anyway, I started a music program from scratch, didn't exist. And within 3 to 4 years at this school in the next state to us, we had 3 teachers, 3 bands, 2 jazz bands, and music from right up to the end. And I forget what else there. Oh, yeah, chorus, singing. So that's it. And then Miss Hany and I have been married 18 years. We're here, and we do until the pandemic. We did come to Indonesia every year for 4 to 6 weeks, and we would see your instructor here in Jogja, because we love staying in a certain place in Jogja all the time, so I can play golf. And we've gone to Bali. Lombok is our favorite to go to, and then obviously my wife's from East Java, and we'd spend time with her family and then go see her sister on Sumatra. Over and out, time to fly 20 hours back to the US. And it is about 20 hours to fly from where we are to where you guys are.
Okay. Are you still teaching right now?
Me?
Still? Yeah.
Yes.
Right now. Are you right now you're still teaching in school? Or
No,
not
no,
in school?
no, retired out of the school. I'm doing it, well, I did it in person until the COVID's junk. So now I'm doing it online pretty much, except for an adult student.
Okay.
I do with an adult student, but it's in a large building, so it's not a big deal. I'm still very careful because of my age. You guys, you're all looking pretty intelligent, so you can guess how old I am.
Okay, can you guess, guys? How old is he? I guess it's 25. I think they guessed 25.
Close,
Oh, I love
Close.
you all.
close.
Yeah,
It's
close.
20 actually.
21.
It's 20.
20 years
Okay.
old.
Okay. Can you guys guess? Okay. I don't, let's not talk about age. Okay.
It's okay. It doesn't.
Okay.
You're only as old as you feel, and
Exactly.
I'm very thankful that I'm very thankful to Allah that I can do the things I can do at my age. And I won't lie, I come up front. I'm 75 years old. So I was born just after World War II, and I've seen everything up till now.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay, before we go on, guys, could you please use your full name? Because some of you still use the name of a laptop, like Asus 8 or yeah, could you please change your name into your full name so I can see who's in here, who's not. All right, but Hany, but you also, I think before you went to US, you also have been teaching, right? I think you also teach in Indonesia, as far as I remember.
I tutored when I was in
tutored?
Situbondo.
Okay.
Yes, my first job actually, after I graduated from college, I stayed at home probably a year or 2, and then I moved to Jogja, and then my first job was actually in Jogja, and I met an American anthropologist, and she was doing research in Jogja, and I was her research assistant. And then no, I never taught in Indonesia. Never taught in Indonesia.
What about the special students school? If I'm not mistaken, you were teaching the special needs kids. The kids with autism?
It wasn't teaching.
Oh, it wasn't teaching. So
no, it
just
wasn't
like a
teaching.
caretaker, something like that.
No,
Can we
no,
call it?
it was like therapy.
Oh, therapy.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So
yeah, it's almost like teaching them, but in a different, I don't know, teaching them to function, maybe something
train.
like that.
I don't know. I don't like to use the word train. It's help them.
Help them to.
But I would say teaching.
Okay. So you help them to be self-sufficient, I guess. Yeah. All right. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Okay. So, Hany and Bill, could you please tell us the age of your students, like the range age of your students? What age of your students so far, the ones that you have taught?
That we have taught.
Yes.
Yeah, the one that you have taught.
Just from beginning to end?
Yeah,
how
from
to learn?
beginning
Mhm,
to now,
mhm.
or do you teach like all ages, or most of them are maybe K-12?
I did do some younger ones. I had more of a difficulty wanting to do the younger kids. I like more advanced stuff, especially when I was younger. As I got older, I did start to work with younger kids and give them a lot of even music history, how things start, even with younger kids. And then I wrote a bunch of songs for original songs for the youngest kids, kindergarten, 5 years old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, and we had a ball doing that. They really loved it.
Which one is
so
easier to teach?
I like the older ones that are playing instruments or that want to learn about recording or how to mix things, how to even write music, how to score music for a group or an orchestra or whatever.
Okay, is it because it's easier to? I don't know how to say it. Manage? No, we don't want to say manage.
No, it was more interesting to me to do that. However, as I got older, I was better also. In my humble opinion, I became better with the younger kids. And I could write special music for them. Some kids say, "Oh, I really like Jingle Bells." So I'd write down to their level if they'd only had, let's say, 1 year of piano, so they could play Jingle Bells. And I could just, because of my writing background, I could just write the song. That was for the younger child. But I tend to like the older kids or older people. So I have my older students range from sophomores in high school on up to a guy that's older than me that I started on saxophone about 3 years ago.
Okay.
More than 3 years.
Is it more than 3 years?
I think so.
Well,
Yeah.
So what's the oldest of your student?
70, what is Phil? 70, he's almost around my age, 76 or 77.
Oh no, you spill the age now. They don't have to guess. You just say around my
No,
age.
this was the teacher. This was the teacher.
Okay. 76.
Yes, his oldest student is about 76 years old. He is a Yale professor, retired, and and then I think maybe over 3 years ago he started to take lesson from him on saxophone.
Right.
Okay. What about you, Hany? What age of your students?
Mostly with preschooler and kindergarten, and between 3 to 6 years old. That's my favorite age group. And
the younger the better.
I'm just the opposite of what his favorite, because
why do you love younger?
Why? Because they are cute.
Okay.
They are very cute and they're fun. They are fun to play with. And the older kid, and I'm an Indonesian, and I cannot take it when they talk back to me, and it's just too rude, that's why I don't like the older kid.
Okay,
they can be so rude to you.
Have you taught the older kids?
No, actually no, but I heard when I was at Cornish school, I was walking in the hallway, and there was one girl. She was middle, she's 8th grade, I think. And then one of the other teacher assistant, she was doing something, and the assistant teacher is trying to redirect her and remind her not to do what she was doing. And she just came back to her and said, "Chill." And I said, "What?" and then last summer, in the fall, he was he was reminding one of his students, and she's a high school student, about their lesson. And she came back to him and said, "Yes, I heard it loud and clear. Okay." So that's very rude. That's why I don't like the older kids.
Okay, all right. So you want
But
the
the
student, yeah,
the younger kids, it's easy for me. Okay, it's easier to work with.
uh-huh. And probably more appreciative of teachers, yeah. More is
Yeah,
that?
they can be
Oh, they can be annoying too.
they can be annoying too, but because of their age, you know, I think it's more permissible for them to act like that.
Uh-huh.
For me,
Uh-huh.
you know.
Uh-huh. Okay. By the way, what were you teaching in a classroom? What are the subjects or the things that the students learn in a classroom, Hany?
For 3 and 6, oh, a lot of things. Reading, math, but basic math, basic reading, you know, and songs, of course, and manners.
Okay, manners.
Yeah. Yeah, things like
Okay,
that.
things like that. Okay, right. In terms of music, Bill, do
Yeah.
you think that the age matters? I mean, the age matters in terms of in the success of the learning music. Do you think that which one do you think is easier to learn and then successfully master what they have to master?
You mean the kids?
Yeah, the kids, yeah. Based on your
I-
observation in your class or outside class, your students.
Yeah, I had to address that in the state of Vermont one time back, but they go through stages. Even the very, very talented and best, they'll go through stages. And initially they're kind of excited, but then as things get a little tough, and that's any job really, any something like that, whether doesn't matter what it is, you start to have, and that's where some of them will dig in and say, I can do this. And I have to be very encouraging, because a lot will go, it's too hard. It's too hard. and I says, too hard. Look at, I'm here and I can do this after all these years. And I was just like you. And so I actually, the older ones, I enjoy more. Hany and I are just the opposite, because I'll look them right in the face, and kind of how I grew up in the city, I give I give back to them what they're giving me.
Okay.
And but anyway, the learning process kind of goes through, it ebbs and flows.
What is that?
Ebbs and flows. It's a term about water. It goes fast, they're learning a lot, and then they come down. And then the boys especially discover girls, junior high, the 6th, 7th, 8th grade. And it's like, I says, you can still see the girl. Practice the thing with it. I know, but you don't understand. She's beautiful. And I says, great, she's beautiful. I says, but your playing stinks and is ugly. and then they'll laugh. Okay, we get it. I've always had a good rapport, with older students like yours, and then down into high school and into junior high. The younger ones take me a little more patience, because it's too hard. I can't do it.
But like, that's interesting, because usually younger students, have more spirit, like have more energy to learn. But in your case, they give up easily. No, not easily.
Well, they're not giving up. They feel intimidated.
They feel intimidated.
It's hard, and I'll talk them through it. I got better as I got more involved with the younger kids.
Is it because the older one already know how to play before they meet you? I mean, before they learn from you?
No, at that school that I ended my career with, I was there for 28 years.
28.
And I started them.
Oh, okay.
So they didn't have a band back then. That was one of the things I got a call for, to consult with this school in Vermont. And I said, and I wasn't sure I wanted to do, college, high school, like I said before. But with the younger kids, there was still hugs. And so I said, I'll do better than that, because I still had my company going, so I could make up my own schedule. And I started music there. And then we started band, and we ended up with, like I said, 3 teachers, 3 bands, 2 jazz, a lot of kids. The younger ones, the more I had initially with them. And I tell them, oh, you can do it. You can do it. And then I tell them I started in 4th grade.
Okay.
And I says at 5 years old, I started piano and organ. My parents had a big 2-manual organ.
Mhm,
And I says, and then when in 4th grade, I started trumpet
mhm,
and so on. So I kind of used that with them. I said, I started just like you, or I was just as old as you, or I was,
mhm,
1 year older than you, and I could do this. And that's usually, really? And that helped give them the impetus to, go through it and work through it. And I always said, look, I still practice every day.
mhm,
You don't need to practice. You're fantastic, like on TV and on the. I said, no. I said, if I stop practicing, and I give them that old saying just to get me down there, so I wasn't like this big thing on a pedestal. I said, if I don't practice one day, I notice a difference. If I don't practice 2 days, professionals will notice a difference. If I don't practice for 3 days, the whole world knows the difference. And so, in fact, I
That's a
practiced
good
for
one.
I practiced for about an hour today,
Mhm. Okay.
and then
Yep.
shoveled snow. So anyway, I hope that
Mhm.
answers that question.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think because older students already know their goal? I mean, they come to you to learn and they
Yes,
know their goal, and the younger one, maybe they just do it because, parents want them to do it.
somewhat. Yeah, some
Yeah,
parents want to
yeah.
do it, or in this case of this town in Vermont, their older brothers and sisters were doing it and said, "Hey, this is great. You'll love Mr. V. He's funny." And
Okay.
so they all, we got Mr. V.
Yeah, yeah. But
And
I don't think you will not like the older student if the student is me, because I try to play guitar 3 days and I give up. I say, okay, like I'm not talented. That's it. So
no, you can't give up. In the
I don't.
beginning, it's tricky.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think you will like me to be your student because I will complain just like the younger students. Okay. All right,
Oh, I
Bahani,
don't
what
know
about
about
you,
that.
Bahani? Miss Hani, what about you? Which one is more difficult or easier? If I can say difficult, I don't know. The younger one or the older one in your class to teach?
I think they're just about the same. It depends on the individuals,
Mhm,
some kid are just. I have kids that he's very talented, but he likes just to give us attitudes every day,
Okay.
but there are some other kids that just very quiet and
Uh-huh.
easy, and they always follow directions,
Uh-huh.
but working with younger kids, and I think it's teacher in general, there's one thing that we need to have is
Uh-huh.
patience.
Uh-huh.
Patience,
Exactly.
because sometimes the kid is just, they're not in the mood learning, but you have to encourage them, you have to find a way,
Yeah, yeah.
to bring them back on the track, you know what I
Uh-huh.
mean?
Yeah, every day. And that's an everyday job. You have to think about
Right. Yes.
motivating them. What about gender?
Yes.
Because Bill mentioned about, the girls are doing this and the boys already are, what about gender? What about are there like differences in the way they behave between the girls and also the boys? Do you find differences?
No,
No, just the
no,
same.
no, not just the same. Just the
Mm.
same. Some girls are just very difficult to work with, and protest all the time. And then there's my there's one boy that is just, yes, Miss Honey. Okay, Miss Honey. You know.
Oh, okay. What about you, Bill? Do you find that girls and boys are different in your students?
They can be. One of the things that helped me with the boys is I'd play basketball with them. I'd play American football with them.
Okay.
The bosses, the principals would have me watch them at recess outside with them. And because the kids listen, quote, the kids listen to you. Not all the time, but I would go out, I'd take a football out, or I'd shoot baskets with them. And so I kind of got, hey, this guy, is not like other teachers.
Mhm.
And so I was able to kind of psychologically, get with them. But overall, the girls will care a little more as they start things, or if we're working on a concert, whereas the boys are like spacey,
Mhm. Mhm.
they're not spacey in the sense of stupid, but they're thinking the sports, they're thinking of after school activities, baseball team, basketball team, whatever. But as we get closer to something, then they get with me, they would get serious and really, I got to work on this. And there's a couple former students that I'll outline here later that have become very famous here in the United States for their own musical stuff. And girls, again, tend to be, in my humble opinion, easier to work with and get them motivated. And the boys, I mean, I look at myself when I grew up in the city, and I like, okay, you guys, you think you're new to this? Let me tell you what I did. And when they hear it, hey man, that was cool. And I said, no, it wasn't cool. It was called stupid and lazy. So why don't we get ourselves together? And they'll laugh. Okay.
I should have agreed with you, but I
You
don't,
don't?
because
don't?
I just started a new job at another Montessori school here, about 15 minutes or 10 minutes, 15 minutes here from Claremont. And this week, actually, my first week, I am shadowing somebody who is living, and there's one girl, pretty, and boy, it was so hard to work with her, even just to keep her in the line. Okay, you stay here. No.
Oh, wow.
And but
How old is she? How old is she?
Kindergarten. Maybe 4.
Kindergarten.
Not sure.
Okay.
Maybe 4. I think it's 4. And then, but there's on the other hand, there's a boy that was so easy to work with. Lucas, can you help me to row? Because we are Montessori. Every time we work, we always have to get a work rug, and then after work we have to put them away. Okay, but because this is kid, so we train them, with that habit. So sometimes we have to remind them. And so one kid just left the work and the work rug. And then so I just asked him to volunteer, and I said, Lucas, can you help me to clean up this work that somebody left? I'll help you. Put this away, you roll, pat. My intention is, give him more practice on roll, pat. We call it roll, pat.
Yeah, what is that? What is
rolling?
Roll. Roll.
It's a rug. It's like a little smaller than
Oh,
a playing
rug. And then?
Yes, playing
What is
rug.
pat?
And roll, pat on the side.
Oh, okay.
So they
I see.
even say roll, pat, roll, pat. That's how we do it at school.
Yeah. Okay.
Typical
would you mind-
Montessori thing.
Yeah. Maybe you can share a little bit what Montessori is. Probably some students here are not familiar, even though Montessori school also exists in Jogja. We also have some Montessori school, but maybe you can give us I don't know, the general idea of what Montessori is, like
The philosophy.
Yeah, the philosophy.
Montessori is one of the philosophies in education, and it is started by Dr. Maria Montessori in Italy. I think it was in the 1800s, and the basic idea is to give the student the freedom to choose what they want to learn, not to do whatever they want to do, but to if, for example, in the morning, because we're preschool, right? We start our day with circle time, and if for about 30 minutes, okay. If they don't feel like joining us for circle time, they have the freedom to leave the circle, and they have the option to go to the library or other rooms in our school building. but as long as they're not a distraction for the big group.
Oh, okay. So the students always have options. They don't
The
have to do, like,
student,
yeah.
the student have they have option. They can pick what they want to do,
Mhm.
and as I told you before, and in a prepared environment. What
Yes.
what it means is the curriculum for 3 and 6 years old is based on the continents.
Mhm.
And by the way, in America, we have 7 continents. I don't know where, Tariq, where are you from?
Tariq, where are you?
Yemen. I am from Yemen.
Oh,
Yemen.
from Yemen.
Yemen.
In Indonesia, we know that there are only 5 continents, but in America, they have 7 continents. How about in Yemen? How many continents we have in the world?
Continents in Yemen. I didn't get the meaning of the word.
Oh, continent. Maybe you can
Continent.
Google first. Google first.
Yeah,
What
continents is
continent in Arabic?
Asia, Europe,
Africa.
Africa,
Mhm.
America.
Australia.
Oh.
African continent.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
continent.
Oh yeah. In Yemen, actually, we got like 2 continents.
Oh, 2 continents.
Yeah.
2 continents.
2
Okay.
continents.
Yeah, just 2. Okay, but in America, they have 7, and in Indonesia it's 5. So yes, our curriculum based on the continents, and I'm missing the point.
Yeah. So the curriculum is based on the continents. What does
Yes,
that
and then
mean?
okay, and then every month, and then we divide it into that. I don't know, maybe 10 months of the school years, and then every month we have different continents to study about. You know, for example,
Okay.
usually we do Asia in February because
Okay.
for us, Asia is represented by China or Chinese cultures and traditions, and China or the Chinese people have the Chinese New Year in February. That's why we do Asia in February. And so in the month of February, everything in the school building or the classroom is about Asia. And also about, you know, nature, and maybe we talk about ocean, about volcano, things like that. And yeah, and so everything, everywhere they everywhere they go, it's about Asia.
Okay. Do they
so
also
that's
learn
what we
the
call
language?
it.
Not the language.
Yes, some
language.
a little bit, because I'm from Asia. We also learn a little bit about Indonesia and some Indonesian word and some Indonesian song. I taught them satu-satu aku sayang ibu, and you know, satu-satu, and topi saya bundar, and I had to translate it into English so they have the idea.
Okay.
Yes, and it's very hard. You know, Indonesian, they said that Indonesian is one of the easiest language in the world, but it actually, you know, it's really hard for
It's hard
for them to memorize the song.
Okay. Bill, how many Indonesian sentences that you
Just remember, bahasa
Excuse me.
saya tidak bagus.
Excuse me, just
Bahasa saya tidak bagus. But I did teach the kids talking the songs when I still did the music classes. I did the I taught tak den dong kamana mana.
They like it?
Oh yeah, they're like, wow, this is a cool song.
Do you guys still remember that song? Do you know that song? So, who is the singer? Do you remember?
Surip.
Basurip. How come you know better than me? Okay, Basurip. He's gone
Isn't
now.
that amazing? Somebody that, you know, bahasa saya tidak bagus. I remember that. And I think, was it her that took us out to the restaurant?
Yes.
Yes, it was you. You took us to a restaurant.
Oh
and there was a live,
I took you to.
remember? And there was a live band playing.
Sambal, yeah. No.
Yeah, and they were playing, that song. And it's the first time I heard it, I says, you
Mhm.
gotta be kidding me. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard, you know, talking. But you know what? It was
It's
infectious because
catchy. Yeah, it's
I know.
infectious. It's
And so
very
I says, you
catchy.
know, I'm gonna do a little international thing with the kids. I said, okay. When I got back from Indonesia, I went, you know, go right back teaching at the school. The you know, because
Yeah.
their schools in America start in late August or early September. And I
Mhm.
says, I got this song, guys, you're gonna love from Indonesia. And they're like, oh no. And I says, don't give me oh no. So I made, you know, I sat down on the piano and I got really animated and did, you know,
Uh-huh.
crazy things. And I spun around off the piano and on the bench, spun around and kept on playing. They were like, oh, that's a cool song. I says, yeah,
Yeah.
just remember that.
I think
But
that's a
anyway,
cool song because I think they only have like one sentence of the lyric. The lyric is only tak gendong kemana-mana. Right,
yeah,
guys?
that's
Do
it.
you still remember? Yeah, that's all the lyric. Tak gendong kemana-mana, and that's it.
How old were you guys? How old were you when the song was popular?
Yeah. How old are you guys when this song was famous?
Kindergarten, elementary school, probably. I think it was.
You can turn on your sound, guys, if you answer.
Yeah.
Where's everybody here?
And
Okay,
elementary school.
elementary school. Oh, we're
Elementary
so
school.
young. Oh my God, we
What
are
grade?
old.
What grade were you back then?
What grade, guys?
Fifth, maybe, Miss.
First,
Fifth.
Third.
third.
Oh,
Grade.
fifth,
Okay.
Yeah.
fifth grade. Okay,
Oh,
so they're
fifth
really
grade.
young.
Fifth grade.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Oh, by the way, you guys can, if you have questions to Miss Hany and Mr. V, just raise your hand or write it on the chat room. Yeah, you can write it on chat, but I think just raise your hand so we can see you and we can hear you.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
better to have
And-
a conversation than just to talk. Please
Yeah, and
just
don't be
raise your hand.
shy.
Yeah, don't be
Just
shy.
don't be
So
shy. Just have right at it.
As
Yeah.
Miss Eva said, this is just, you know, a chit chat.
yeah, a chit chat, a conversation, but meaningful conversation. Because we already have this discussion about you know, the factors that can influence. Okay, Tarek, do you have questions? Please turn on your voice,
Yep.
unmute yourself, and then you can ask the question. Yeah, what's the question, Tarek?
Question. First, I want to thank Ms. V and Hani for this great speech. But I would like to ask Miss Hani because she is like from Indonesia and she want to teach in US. She talk about like she love to teach the children because it's hard for her all the young or school students. I mean, they are like rude or maybe. So is that because different culture or something that our students they will be rude at here? So it means that she lost the interest to teach the young students because of that. The rude way for students is the one which make her lose the interest to teach the young students.
No, not the younger student, actually the older student. Because yes, it's hard for me. Yes, it's still hard for me to accept that.
Yeah. Is it because of
It's a
cultural
cultural, it's
aspect?
a
Yeah.
cultural things. It
Mhm.
is. Yes,
Mhm.
you are right.
Mhm.
Thank you for the question.
It's a cultural thing. Is it because, you know, in Indonesia we have this culture that, you know, a teacher, you have to be, you know, you cannot talk back to the teacher, something like that?
Yes, in the old days, I don't know what happened now, but in the old days, our parents always reminded us that, you know, your teachers are your parents at school.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
your teacher, you have to respect your teachers because they are your parents, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Tarek, for the question. Any other question, guys? Okay. Please just raise your hand if you want to ask questions. I do have another questions. What about the students' background? Do your students, both of you, come from different, I don't know, family background, economic backgrounds, and does that also influence the way they perform in school? or in their learning?
No, no,
No,
because
meaning they come from a similar background or no?
mostly
Mhm.
they are white,
Mhm.
okay,
Mhm.
Caucasian, white Caucasian, but once in a while we have, you know, Asian, but they are Americans.
Okay.
Yeah, Asian. No, Arab, I think one time.
Mhm.
He's mixed.
Mhm.
His dad, no, not Arab, Farsi.
Mhm. Oh.
His dad is Iranian,
Mhm.
and his mom is Philippine,
Mhm. Mhm.
Filipinos. Yeah,
Mhm.
Filipinos.
Mhm. Mhm.
And another kid, she's half Japanese and half American.
Mhm. Mhm.
And some African American. No, yes, one African American. No, half African American and half white. Um, Other than that, it's just one whose parent used to be Amish, but
Mhm.
they
Oh.
yes, they decided to leave the church that they belonged to before,
Mhm.
the Amish church. And so
Okay.
now they're just like regular America. And um, it takes, thing is, it takes time for them, even though physically they're white and from, you know, they were born here, but it's like a different culture and tradition because they speak, they call it Pennsylvania Dutch, but it's Dutch.
German
Oh,
Dutch.
okay.
Yeah, no, not Dutch. German, actually German, but they call it Pennsylvanian Dutch, but actually it's German.
Mhm. Mhm.
So when they left left their church, they have to learn English,
Mhm.
just like we do
Okay.
Yeah.
when we move to
But
yeah.
do they perform differently? I mean, in terms of like, the I don't know, the
I
learning process. Yeah, do they learn differently?
a little bit, yes, a little bit because of the language barrier.
Ah, because of the language barrier. Okay.
Yes.
What about the I don't know, economic background? Do they come from like families with similar economic
No,
background? Mm-hmm.
no, because in Montessori we try to treat them equally.
Ah, okay. So there's
Yeah,
no.
and one more thing about Montessori,
Mhm.
we don't recognize competition. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, we don't. Yeah, everybody is the same.
Okay.
So we don't sometimes, and we don't even praise the kids like good job.
Oh,
But what we
really?
we rephrase it like, oh, you must practice a lot. That's why you're good on that.
Oh, okay, I see. So you acknowledge the work behind the good job.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, what about you, Bill? Do your students come from different background, like in terms of, I don't know, racial background, nationality, language, uh family, economy, or
Um, I've had a couple African Americans. Of course, I grew up in Chicago where there's everything.
Mhm.
There's
Mhm.
all religions,
Mhm.
all backgrounds, African Americans, Asians,
Mhm.
white, Jewish, we're
Mhm.
everything. I did have a couple there. The parents tend to be a broad scope. There might be a single mom who's working two jobs, and the other side of the coin may
Mhm.
be some farmers that work there. And then there'll be some people that are very wealthy, or they're professors at Dartmouth or doctors at the Dartmouth Medical Center.
Mhm.
It's a pretty broad scope of
Mhm.
of backgrounds.
Mhm.
The first African American, and his father moved here and had a good job in a company.
Mhm.
It took a while for him, but for me, having grown up where I grew up, we had, like I said, we had everything.
Mm-hmm.
He latched onto me a little bit, and I gave him, not gave him, I encouraged him that, you know, you're just like everybody else. And he was a nice kid, just a nice kid. The problem became when he got into junior high
Mm-hmm.
and noticed girls. And some of the parents, I had a couple issues with a couple parents, and through my principal, I mentioned it, that they were telling her, you know, he's and using a bad word for African-American Black people
Mm-hmm.
to him. And I said, I'm going to stand up for that boy if these people ever say anything, because one, he was a sweetest, he's just sweetheart. In fact, an acquaintance of mine ran into him somewhere about a year ago, and she wrote me and said, oh, you had a boy named this, he said to say hello to you. And of course, he was much older and he was working in a store. But other than that, you know, it's everybody's pretty much unlike, you know, what Hany's saying was, they're white, the economic backgrounds go from A to C, single mom working a job or two, onto some people that don't need to work, you know.
Okay. So, but do you both see any influence in this background to the success of the students? I mean, do they struggle because of some I don't know, some background influence? I don't know. But Hany, I guess you mentioned
The
language.
academic
Yeah.
achievement,
Yeah,
in the
academic
academic,
achievement. Yeah.
no,
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 it's the same.
because
Yeah.
this, yes. And you actually, you have these successful kids.
From the backgrounds.
the
Yeah,
backgrounds,
I'll get into that in a minute. There's some of the ones that just had a mom from a divorce or a death. The boys were kind of tough, and you know, they weren't particularly fair. If I had a conversation with them, if I was fortunate, you know, I didn't go in there like a father and say, hey, what's happening to, they'd come to me, the kids. They felt safe coming to me. They didn't like the guidance counselor, which caused me a little problems. But anyway, they would ask me, they would ask me some things, and I try to, you know, look at, your mom is doing her best. You got to do your best for your mother. I said, or you're the man of the house now, if they're in 7th or 8th grade, and these are da-da-da-da-da you should do. But from the different backgrounds, I think I have a list of some of these people. One of them was a boy, he played trumpet for me. He didn't like singing. He thought singing was, you know, girly stuff and all that. I played his sister's wedding, who was younger, and he showed up and he sang with the guitar, and it was like, whoa, you're really good. He says, I grew up. Let me tell you, he just got signed last year by Sony, and he's one of the, he's running his shows now, travel all over the place. Right now in North America, and they're planning on going to Europe. And his father and mother, well, his mother was a teacher, elementary teacher. His father's a farmer in Vermont. He ran a big farm with horses and cows and so on. And as I said, he was signed by Sony, and he's on like tour now, and he's number one in, he was religious Christian music, but he's number one, and you know how big it is in the United States.
You can Google, guys,
can
and
Google.
his name is Ben Fuller.
Fuller, F-U-L-L-E-R.
Why am I familiar with that? Or maybe
Yeah,
just
Ben
another
Fuller.
paper.
Ben Fuller.
So he's a musician now?
Yes,
Yeah, but
country
the
music.
country Christian music, and he's got a full band, a full show, and as I said, he's been picked up by Sony Records out of Nashville. He's under contract. Yeah, he's under contract Sony. Another one, her dad left her. I had her briefly when I first went back into teaching from the music business. And I had her in 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade. Her mother was on drugs, and she had a great position as an accountant for a major corporation here, but she was all messed up. She had men coming and going, and drugs and that. Anyway, she went on to become in the top 5 in her class from high school. She is now in Europe in London with a fantastic job, making oodles of money, sending pictures of, traveling to South America, traveling to Antarctica, traveling to all parts of Europe. So there's another success from a not a good background. And let's see, what were the other ones that I meant here?
Joe.
And
The opposite.
the opposite. This girl was loaded with
Love.
brains and music talent, and she, I mean, phenomenal. This girl, she started on clarinet and on her own picked up and could play trombone, all the saxophones and flute, just like that, without me having to do much. She was very just loaded with talent. And she went the opposite way. Her mom was a single mom, and her mom had various men in her life. Nothing, terrible. She'd have a boyfriend, have another boyfriend. But the girl.
But she is, Bobby Joe is loaded with
loaded with
love and attention
talent,
from her mother.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mom was on, with her, she'd stand up for her anyway. But she had a injury in her that limited her motion and had to be checked by doctors and that. And it all has gone by the wayside in terms of her using her talent.
So what happened to her now?
She's basically raising horses in Pennsylvania.
And her, so she doesn't do music.
No more music.
No, I was thinking about, she would be, fantastic lawyer, because she was so into criminal justice. But she got into Kent State College in here, and she just dropped out on the first semester, and she said, "I know everything." That's it.
Oh wow! Yeah. So, what do you think makes her like this? Is it like, I don't know, something happened, or just attitude?
No, I think
motivation.
She's just a little brat.
Yeah, she needed. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The only negative thing, besides not having a father that was there, is she had a boyfriend who in high school, and then he died of a drug overdose, and that really zapped her, at the time.
All right.
So she's worked her way back. She's doing pretty well. She trains horses in Pennsylvania. She's over near the Amish country, that way. And so that was that one. Another one that was very talented, Charlotte.
Michelle McIntyre, Amanda.
Yeah. And she was very, very good at what she did.
Fallon Williams.
Yep. I'll get to Fallon in a minute. And she's gone off into, she does, I don't know, what do you call it? That
yoga.
Yoga. Yeah. She's into yoga and that kind of stuff. But she also came from a mom that was an upper level banker, and the mom went kind of hooky balooky crazy and running around with all sorts of men and partying, and I think probably drugs in there, and the sister did really, so that being the case, and the father died. So the two girls, there was this one and then another one who went into business, and she was involved in Los Angeles for something, and she's since moved back, but they have done very well. And the where's the last one there? Oh yes, one of this was early in my career in Chicago when I taught a little bit before I moved out here. And it was a mixed school, a lot of African Americans and Puerto Rican kids, Spanish, and just the whites, everybody from the inner city of Chicago. And this boy came in one time, and I said, "You do music?" He says, "Yeah, I kind of fiddle on a drum." Well, fiddle on a drum. He was in freshman in high school, and he was like, I couldn't believe how good he was. So I worked with him. Gave him different styles. I'd play the piano and have him doing, different rhythms, that he would see in the music business. Long story short, he's now one of the top percussionists in Australia.
Oh, wow.
And he's played all sorts of shows around that area, the South Pacific area. and he's really well known now in Australia. Fantastic.
Well, we talk a lot. How about
Yes.
you guys? You have
Ask
a question?
questions.
Yeah, why is
And Miss
everybody
Eva
so
was the
quiet?
only one who asking us questions. How about you guys?
Yeah.
We have some, and Tarek.
Yeah.
Only Tarek and Miss Eva?
Yeah,
Oh, and the
yeah.
last-
I don't understand because usually they have lots of questions in the classroom.
The-
But why
the
not
last
right now
kid-
they are so like,
That's the last kid I just talked about from in Australia was African American, one, and he had no parents. His grandmother raised him.
oh, okay. Okay. Do you guys have questions? Any questions about you know, like factors that might be influential in the success of learning on the students? Or you can just ask about Mr. V and also Miss Hany about anything. Basically. Yeah, just raise your hands. Okay.
Just one last thing, Eva.
Yeah.
No matter what the child's background is, both Hany and I found that if you show honestly, no phony baloney stuff, that you do care,
Okay.
they'll gravitate to you, because young people are so sharp at knowing if somebody is a phony or if he truly cares, he or she truly cares. And Hany and I, you know, we really, really enjoy working with young people, and they perceive that. You know, young people, I was amazed at how sharp they can be at calling a spade a spade. You know, they know if you really care or if you don't. Anyway,
that's interesting, because when I was in the US, so I had to be in this class for my teaching practice. And one of my classmates actually conducted a research study on them. And so he invited me in this forum group discussion. And when he asked, okay, what is so special about this class? What is special about the teacher? And one of the things that they mentioned is just like what you say. They actually mentioned, well, she cared. And I can feel it, like we can feel it, that she genuinely care about us. And that's why we want to do what we have to do. We write, we do this because we like it, because we can see and we can feel that she cares. And you can tell that she genuinely cares. So I think that resonates to what you just say. Yeah. What is this?
Sometimes kids would just say, you know, if they don't get what they want, they would say, you hate me, you don't like
love
me,
yeah.
you don't love me.
Yeah.
They do that at school.
Oh, they do
And I
that.
said, yeah, no, I love you.
So your students sometimes say something like that?
Yes.
In what
Yes.
occasions, for example? Usually.
Well, it was a long time ago, but I just remember what he said. You don't like me, because he didn't get what he wanted.
Oh, what did he ask?
I don't remember the detail. I don't remember the detail, but sometimes he is so sensitive because he was one of the oldest in the classroom, and he still have you know, his speech didn't develop like it should be. So sometimes it's hard to understand, you know. Oh, you don't like me. No, it's not your problem. It's my problem. It's my ears problem.
That's interesting. Okay. All right. Okay, Tariq, you have another question, please.
Yeah, all of you ask away.
All of you. Yeah, ask away. Oh, somebody actually asked question through chat. Oh, okay.
And if your question, if you feel funny about it, do it in Indonesian. My wife or your teacher will translate.
But he doesn't speak Indonesian.
Oh,
He's
well,
from
I'm just-
Yemen.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying for those that
Okay.
are from, you know,
Yeah.
anyway. We
Yeah,
have two
somebody
good
actually,
translators.
somebody asked question here in Bahasa Indonesia. I think she's, I don't know, afraid. Dan sebenarnya dari gitu, saya ingin bertanya kepada Miss Hany sebagai seorang Indonesian yang mengajar di Amerika, apakah pernah mengalami racism? Karena
Yes.
seperti yang kita tahu, sometimes people memandang orang Asia sebelah mata dari yang seringkali saya lihat. Oh, that's a very good question. See, you guys have good questions, so ask away.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
this first, yeah, Tariq, and after this, I will give you time for this. But let Miss Hany answer this one. Yeah, racism to you.
Yes.
Mhm. Not only
Yes.
because you are Asian, you're also Muslim and you wear headscarf.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Being a Muslim is not the problem at
Mhm.
Montessori, but I think it's because I'm Asian, and I was taken advantage by somebody. Okay, I will not tell
Yeah,
who.
yeah. Okay,
But
somebody.
yes,
Yeah, let's just call somebody.
somebody in the authority, you know,
Uh-huh,
and that's why I love the kids. I love the school, and I love working in a small organization.
Mhm.
But I had to resign, and he said that Honey left the job without backing plan, backup plan, because I couldn't stand it anymore.
Yeah, she
You
was
know,
getting treated horribly.
it's too much. You know, it's
Okay.
too much. So
Can you give
um,
example what kind of treatment that you think is, unfair?
racism.
And yeah, it sounds
Yes.
racial. Yeah. What
Yes.
kind of treatment can you? Yeah.
For example,
Mhm.
there are two other colleagues, you know, and she proposed to take the whole week of vacation, because we have 5 days paid personal days, and she proposed to take all the personal days in once, and because she wanted to go to visit her sister who was giving a baby in Pennsylvania, and just to go to Pennsylvania is only 8 hours from where we live, and she got 5 days. And then another colleague, she said that, oh, Honey, she's leaving to Michigan because she already bought the ticket about a month ago, and she got the whole week. Okay, and then plus she added 3 more days, and she said that I have trouble with my flight, so I have to stay here longer. Okay, so she left for probably 10 days, and it was okay, you know. And
Okay.
Honey proposed to take the whole week to go to Indonesia for my nephew's wedding back in February 2020. And she said, no, you can't, because we don't have anybody in here. So all I got was 2 days.
To go back to Indonesia, which is 12
Yes,
hours away.
2 days. I was going to get okay, so it should have been 2 weeks, okay? But I only got 1 week. It was the February vacation, winter break, plus 2 days. So that's all I got. And then the person also determined when I should go to Indonesia, when I should fly back to the US. And then don't call me before 8 a.m. But everybody else, it's okay, you know? So that's why it's probably I was too nice, you know? And I didn't complain. I think it was just an Asian things, you know? And it happened to my friends too. She doesn't work, Erfina, she doesn't work in a school system, but she works in a multinational company. And she and her Chinese colleague also feel the difference in the treatment.
But what about the students? Do the students treat you differently from the white teachers? Oh,
yes,
I really?
It's because they are mostly white. Okay, we live in a white country, in a white region
environment.
Very rural, predominantly white, except for like, you know, the Ivy League, like Dartmouth College and that area. But other than that, it's all you know, hardworking people. Well, not hardworking. Don't, you know, don't have a college education,
Uh-huh.
white, very conservative,
Mhm.
and you know, they see somebody with a little darker skin and they're like,
Mhm.
Yes,
Okay.
there was a kid. He was only 3 years old, you
Uh-huh.
know, and he just didn't like me. Sometimes they're afraid. I understand that, you know,
Uh-huh.
because all they see is white, but this is
Uh-huh.
different
Yes.
color. And when he goes to Indonesia, some kids are afraid of him
they're
too,
afraid of me.
because he
Okay.
looks different too. But this kid, especially, not just he was not just afraid of me, but he is also, to me, he's a little bit racist. I was surprised because he was only 3 years old, you know. And one time he said that, I don't want you to be here. I want you to go. And my boss said, Henry, it's not going to happen in here. There is no school without Miss Hany. Go back to your seat, please. So and then
Oh, no.
one time, and then another time, and he, you know, he's cute, you know, and he said to me, I don't like brown. And I said,
Oh my
well,
God.
yeah, I don't like brown. And I said, well, Henry, sometimes I don't like white. I said, do you like pink?
Wow. That
You know,
takes
and
a
I've seen-
strong heart to do that. I mean, I salute you to be able to face this for years. I mean, that's scary to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was-
Well,
that was
I
good.
think it comes from maybe home, you know, I don't know.
Okay. All right. I hope that answered your questions. Yeah. Tri Wahyu Ningsih. Okay. Any other question? Oh, I guess
Yes,
Tariq
Tariq
has a question. Yes, please.
So I would like to ask, because as you said, like most of students like will be have like their background, maybe background from their home
Mhm.
or family problems that will impact the students or impact their behavior. So they will behave like badly in the class. And I think for me, the teacher is like the students. Also, the teacher need the motivation from students to give them the best. If they bad, like if they're acting like bad in the class, I think there is no motivation for teacher to give them the best. So how, what is the technique or the method you use it to deal with those students who have like really very bad ground, and they are like disrupting the classes, the students in the class, or disrupt your teaching? What is the technique to make them and like good students, or what the method you use to solve this?
I remember, sorry, I remember, thank you for the good, that's very good questions. When I remember when I was at Wethersfield, there was a kid and he had a very bad family background, and he carried that to school too, and he's in his daily life too. And he was always, you know, sour and angry, you know. And what it wasn't me, it was the school, and that did the action on him. And he just put him in with Mr. Hamlin to help Mr. Hamlin. Yeah, he didn't like to study, so they gave him, you know, an alternative to help the janitor to, you know, to help them clean up the it gave him a feeling that he is needed. Important, and he's needed. And also when he joined Mr. V's class, I remember that Mr. V always gave him a job to do. Okay,
collect the books.
Yeah, collect. Yeah, you do this, you do this. And then one time, and it was fall, it was autumn, and it was cold, and we were outside, and he didn't want to wear his jacket, and we were worried about him. And so I said to him, I said, please put your coat on. And he said, no. Well, you know, I'm your friend and I care about you, and I don't want you to be sick. He didn't say anything. He grabbed his coat and put it on. So I think he felt that, oh, you know, I have somebody, you know, that care about me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so
So the
I hope that
strategy is to
helps.
show care, yeah, to show care
Yes.
to the
Yes.
student.
And it's Tarek, you know, when you these are all, you know, teacher to be, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so to be a teacher, it's hard for you to, it's hard for us to separate or to limit our involvement with them. Sometimes it's just one day he went home with, you know, with sadness, and he said that this kid da 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 da, you know, and it makes me so sad and think, how can I help him? You know,
Mhm.
it's just beyond the profession, you know. It's a
Mhm.
part of your life.
That's right. Teaching is a 24-hour job.
Yes.
Yes, it's a
Teaching
24.
is not only yes.
We only
Yes.
have 24 hours.
Yeah.
That's right. Does that answer your question, Tariq?
Yeah, thank you. I
Yeah,
get like
okay.
some experience from them how to deal, to be close to them, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Just showing you care is
Yeah.
enough for many of these, you know, these young people.
Uh-huh.
Especially the younger ones. As they get older, they get a little tougher because they're set in their
Mhm.
ways, 15, 16, 17. But with younger kids, junior high, ages like what she dealt with, and the ages that I dealt with, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. If you care, even if it's like she said, the boy didn't want to obey her, but by showing that she cared, and I had that kid too, and he was a tough kid, but actually through my wife, and because I was the husband, he started with me. He says, you know, Mr. V, you got anything I can do? Yeah, hand out the books. And I figured that was the least trouble he could get into. But again, just caring. It can be a little thing. You know, somebody comes in, I'll go, gee, what's the problem? Oh, well, my mother, my, you know, whatever. And I says, oh, that's too bad. And all that needs is like just hearing them, because sometimes with the parents all over the world, in certain instances, they're too busy, they're sick,
Yeah.
or
Right.
they're having their own issues, family issues, whatever. And it can be the same in Indonesia, just showing that you care. We've many times when we're there, we will talk or speak at high schools, or you know, large schools like we did when we were in Situbondo this past August. And just even, they don't know me from Adam, and some of them were kind of funny, but I would ask questions, or she would, it'd be caring, and suddenly their whole demeanor, how they act and change. And that's where, again, it comes, you know, care.
I remember, Tarek, when we were in Indonesia, we were in my hometown in Situbondo, East Java, and we were usually invited to visit schools, and we talked to kids at school. And one time it was in SMP 6 Situbondo, and it is marginal area, okay? And the kids is just unbelievable rude and unruly, you know, and sometimes they test you. And then I heard from one of the teachers in there that they invited a Canadian, he's not a teacher, they invited a Canadian to come to the class, and they were just giving him a hard time, and he just pounded the table and walked out. The Canadian.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they did the same thing to us. And I said, and finally, they didn't listen. They started to make noise, blah, 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 banging on the table, blah, blah, blah. And I said, just give me 5 minutes, maybe less. I said, give me just 5 minutes. And I said, I am an Indonesian. You are Indonesians. I said, we know and we believe that we are friendly people, but you're doing this. But that guy, I'm pointing to him, that guy It's not. He's not an Indonesian. He's an American. What happened if he comes home to America and tell people in America how you behave in here? And I just gave him themselves, you know, and just got them. And so they just suddenly quiet.
I mean, they were suddenly my buddies when I was done. They're all coming up and shake my hand or give me a hug. Oh, want to take a picture with you, but it's because of her that she faced them with Indonesia. You are not polite. You are rude what you did to this man, and he doesn't know any different, and he'll go, blah, blah, blah. Hany and I mean, the whole place suddenly, they were sitting with their hands folded on the desk and didn't say a word.
Yeah, you don't need to yell. Okay,
No,
you don't need to yell.
You need self-control. Yeah, you need to be patient, and then
you don't need to yell, and you don't need to bang on the table. You just, give them, just be, to reason with them.
Yeah,
and just be calm, and it worked.
Yeah, what a transformation.
Good. Thank you. I think we have other students to ask. I think Aulia Andin, do you want to ask first before Zaki, Dayat? Because I saw you raise your hand before Dayat. Okay, so Aulia first and then Dayat, yeah. Okay, Aulia, please. But why can I only see your forehead? Can we see your face? Yeah, there you go. Okay, Andin, and then Dayat, yeah. Okay, yeah, please.
Okay, well, I want to ask Miss Hany that who experienced school in Indonesia. So what are the differences that stand out in Indonesian student and the student in there? And which one do you think is easier to teach?
Which one is easier to teach?
Yeah. That's a difficult question.
It's really hard for me because I'm Montessori, and Montessori, remember, there is no competition. They're all the same.
Indonesian is all about competition.
Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's easy. There's always two sides and everything. Right? Yeah.
So that's a question that cannot be answered. Sometimes it's difficult.
No, if you find that it's difficult to teach in Indonesia, but remember that there's always, I remember an article, but actually this is in the Quran too. I think at the Juz 30, almost at the end, that a problem sent down to you in a package with the solution. So when you find the difficulty first, then just hang in there, and that the solution will come to you, inshallah.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
Thank you.
Don't give up. Don't give up.
No.
Don't give up, because being a teacher is very special. Teacher, in my WhatsApp, Miss Ivan knows that. In my WhatsApp, I says, this is actually from my friend in Australia. He says that everybody can be a teacher, but not all teacher can teach, because teaching ability is a gift.
Yes.
That's very good. That's going to be my next WhatsApp status post.
Teaching ability is a gift. So be proud of yourself. So when you face a difficulty, don't give up, because you come to a profession that is very special. This profession doesn't give you a lot of money, but what you give to other people matters
and is invaluable.
Yes,
more
invaluable. Yes, that's right.
Yes, invaluable.
Right. Yeah. It can be a difficult job, right? If you think it's difficult, it can
just
be a
like
difficult job.
That's just like other fields, in the world, just like other things in life. There's always difficulties, but there are always also solution for that.
It
And-
doesn't matter whether the students are Indonesians or Americans, white
No.
or
No.
brown or
No.
No,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
really. And again, it comes down, I can tell you, young lady, that the kids, if you show you care, in other words, you can't take it personally. I've taught for
Oh, that's right.
all those 35 years, and some of the kids used to sling dirt at me, and I just come back right at them. And sometimes I'd even give them the older kids, and they like, "Wow, you can't say that." And I said, "I just said it." And then suddenly there's a timeout. But if it comes down to if you care enough, I know there's some things that students can say that it would hit you personally. In other words, her dark skin. But she didn't let it. Oh, it hurt me. I can't.
No, well,
Be
actually,
strong.
actually,
It hurts.
maybe maybe Wednesday or Thursday, I was in the second class. I was assisting one of the teachers at the school, and there's one kid, and he's so nice. He's so nice. And I was sitting in the corner, and he was sitting across from me, and he said to me, "You are beautiful."
Oh.
What? I got competition?
Thank you.
I
So that's
remember-
your reward.
No. I remember when Bill told me that you introduced your wife and show her her picture, and your students say, "No, she's too beautiful for you."
Yeah.
I remember they said that.
I didn't know that. You didn't tell me
Yes,
that.
He did tell me that. He showed the
Yeah.
picture. And, no, she's too beautiful.
He kept it from me.
Yeah, there's so many of those things, and I just look at them rather than get into it. I just go like this: poof, poof.
Aulia, you will be a great teacher. Don't worry.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Andin, for the question. Now, I think we still have a little time. Dayat, please.
Okay, maybe Mr. V has already answered my question a little bit. So I want to ask a question. As you mentioned before, there is a student come to you and maybe tell their problems. Is it right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you say that you have to show the care to young students so that they can build their trust in you. Is it the
Yes.
same way you show care to the older student
Yes, I did.
so that they have trust in you, or you have other thing, and or how you build their trust in you so that they can talk to you about their problems like that?
Part of it was that I was there a long time, so I had their siblings, their brothers or sisters. The parents loved what I was doing with my concerts, what I did with the kids. Having said that, part of that helped because as the older one went through, they would say, "You're really going to like Mr. V." So the younger ones, it gave me a little, heads up on that. But again, that aside, in general, if people show that they care to each other. I was in, as I said, when I did the music for radio and television commercials, I dealt with a lot of advertising agencies. And that was one of the things in selling a product. Put it out there, and make it like we care about you. Now they could be, advertising can be a phony thing, but with the kids, they really will latch onto it. It helped me to have some of their older kids, and they came along and said, "Oh, you're really going to like Mr. V." So that was in my favor. But the bottom line, I can't say it enough. I sound like what they used to call a broken record. You guys are young, you may not know what that means. But
So what that means? What does that mean?
all right, back before CDs and cassette tapes and all that, they had records.
Oh, the big one, the black.
Yeah, if I had more time, I'd go grab one to show you.
Itu piringan hitam ya. piringan hitam.
Yeah, piringan
Ah.
hitam, I think in bahasa
Ah.
Indonesia. Mhm.
And if a record got a nick in it, it would keep going, saying the same thing. Go click, click, click. It gets stuck. The needle that would get stuck. So they would say, if you say the same thing over and over, you're sounding like a broken record. It's slang,
Okay.
American slang. But I can't say it enough. If you show you care, and it doesn't have to be even as a I mean, just in general human contact. If you show you care something or care about, you know, whatever, it really enhances the working, and it enhances a relationship. Even if it's a guy that just pumps gas at Pertamina, you know, you come in and I'm amazed at how fast the motorcycles and everything goes through. And you could just say, well, thank you very much. Have a nice day. And, oh, you'll get a head turn, or they're gonna look at you like you're from Mars. But bottom line, as I mentioned again, with kids.
In other words, okay, this I have to say it in Indonesian for it.
Yeah.
Mengorangke, gitu loh. Meskipun it doesn't matter how young they are, and you know, just try to understand. Even with the 3 to 6 years old, you know, try to understand their situation. You know, kadang-kadang kita kan marah, ya. Kadang-kadang kalau kita nggak telaten gitu ya. Apa ini? That's because we don't understand them, right? So just sometimes they're crying because their back vocabularies are limited, right? So sometimes they just cry, and then just tell them, it's hard for me to understand when you're crying. Can you stop crying? Can you stop crying and start to talk to me and explain what you want so I can help you? If you keep crying, I cannot help you because I don't know. Yeah.
Does that answer your question, Taya? Okay. I
Yes,
think
thank you.
okay, because
You're
we have
welcome.
limited time, but we still have one more question from Aulia Mutiara. She asked about when you apply for work in America, Mbak Hany, did you also struggle to get jobs in America?
Alhamdulillah, no.
Oh,
I was talking to my friend today. She lives in Baltimore, and she said, "Oh, I told Miss Eva I needed Miss Eva's advice actually, because it was a TESOL position, teaching in here, in my school district here in Claremont, and Alhamdulillah, I got the job easily." And it was just, he just said, "I think you're perfect for the position," and I turned it down. And that's why my friend in Baltimore said that, "Ooh, sombong kali ya." He was just joking. He was just joking. And then yes, and then I had I applied to be, you know, to be a substitute teacher, because I was planning to be a little bit slow, not high speed like last time. And I was thinking about to be a substitute teacher here in the school district, and he wanted me, but he said he had the position, and I said, this is for a teacher assistant, and I asked him, is this for special ed? If this is a special ed, I'm not interested. And he said, no, this is not. Well, sometimes special ed, sometimes no. And then I went to the interview. He wanted me, and I turned it down. But right now I have 2 jobs. Okay, both in education. My first in another Montessori school. It's in the morning until 5:30. I started at 11 until 5:30, and then my second job is in they call it adult learning literacy is a school, English school for immigrants. So my job is to assist Miss Glenna to teach them English. Yeah, and then also I'm listed in school district as the substitute teacher. So I think I have to turn it down once. So I have to stay with just two. This one is just tying me up already. But I enjoy the especially the with the adult class. It was always fun. And I think it's Miss Glenna, you know, that makes the class fun. And they laugh at themselves. And they struggle. The oldest is Chongfeng. He's from China, and he is 76 years old.
Wow.
Yes.
Cool.
So the students are from Brazil, from Cuba, from the Philippines, Thailand, Ukraine, Afghanistan, and yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
I
All
think
right.
Mexico. Yeah.
Okay.
But Alhamdulillah, yes. Oh, when I applied for that job, I wanted that job. I know it's a far, distant wise, it's far from where we live. When I went for the interview, and the director of the program saw me the first time. Oh, it's not white. And
oh wow, that's his comment. Wow.
Yeah. No, she didn't say that, but
Oh, so this is
the look I could
look,
tell
yeah,
from
okay.
The jaw drop.
Yes, and
Jaw-dropping.
so the first question she asked me, she said, "Why do you think you can do this job? Why do you think you can do this job?" And so I explained to her, you know, that I've been doing English classes for an Indonesian students. Now it's 2 classes, and then I also teach Indonesian for American students, you know. So I know what I'm doing. And I've been working in the school system. Excuse me?
And you got the job.
I got a job, alhamdulillah. Yes,
I got
it's
the
not
job.
me. It's not me being too smart or talented. I think is well, Allah help me. We have to be humble about that too.
Okay. And your experience too. So Aulia, if one day you want to apply for a job abroad, not only in the US, don't worry. I think the keyword is experience, because that's something that is selling. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God. We almost it's almost 2 hours and no questions are coming in.
That's good. Just one
Okay.
thing.
Is it okay? But
we
Honey?
don't mind. We stay
No,
Oh,
longer.
you
no,
don't
stay
mind.
here.
Is it okay for you?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
just one real quick thing. Where we live, you know, don't let the white faces and you have a dark
Intimidate you.
This is a rural area. It's a beautiful area. We're only 2 hours from Canada, up in the mountains, beautiful.
Okay.
But if you go into like New York City, Chicago, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, or any Pennsylvania, everybody's got dark skin coming from all over the place. So it's different. The only reason it's a little different here is because it's a very rural area.
Predominantly
rural.
white, yeah.
And predominantly white, and
But not in Lebanon.
not in Lebanon by Dartmouth, of course, because of Dartmouth and the hospital and the international companies there.
And the college too, yeah.
The
Yes.
college.
Yeah,
And
I think
so
because there's a college.
there's people from everywhere. We usually run into an Indonesian grad student at Dartmouth. Now, not this time though.
No.
So there are not many Indonesians in New
No,
Hampshire, I
no.
guess. Yeah, very limited. Yeah.
Not-
Okay, Dayat, I guess you have another
Questions.
question. Yeah, another question, please.
Yes, I have another question, but sorry if you have mentioned before. To Miss Hany. Do you have feel when the first time you came to America, you feel like I see culture shock, whether it's the first time when you arrive or whether it's when you're teaching the class,
Mhm.
Culture shock.
A
and
culture
how
shock.
you, yes, how you overcome the culture shock.
Mhm.
Oh, um, I was lucky because I worked my first job. Remember, I told you earlier that my first job was working for the American anthropologist.
Mhm.
So I learned from her, you know, how to adjust to a new culture. So when I moved here to America, yes, of course, there's a culture shock. And in fact, when we just arrived in Claremont from Boston, I was hungry. It was during lunchtime, and I was hungry. And I told him, I'm hungry. And okay, I'll make you lunch, he said. And so I was thinking about nasi
Nasi
campur.
goreng.
Okay. No, I was thinking about nasi campur. And what came out was 2 slices of bread with
Turkey.
things in the middle. And I said, what is that? I cannot eat that. I almost
No
cried.
rice, no rice, no food.
Hey, I
No
made her
rice,
a
no
turkey-
meal.
I made her a turkey sandwich with Swiss and a tomato and you know, the neat mustard. And she did. She really, what's this? And I'm like,
That's
I
not
almost
breakfast.
cried. And I said, I want to go home. But you know, my first year I was an observer in here. So just, you know, see how things going in here, how the cultures and tradition of the people in here. You don't have to adopt everything, but at least you need to respect them.
Mhm.
And then after that, then you can just
How many
It takes-
years? It takes
how many years
Wow.
how many years to
to get
be
accustomed, yeah, to everything.
not
not even a
not
year.
2 years, not too many. Yeah, it wasn't too long because it helped because he's white. Yes. And he's white, and he has his white friends. Okay, and it's easier for me.
And they stood up for her a
Yeah.
lot. And there were things she had to learn, like here, if you walk out in the street, everybody has to stop or the police will arrest you. And of
Oh,
course, I almost the last time in Georgia at Malioboro Street, we crossed from the train station, and without thinking, where the road curves by the hotel there. Anyway,
Garuda.
Garuda Hotel in Garuda.
Mhm.
I started walking right across the street, and this guy comes around there, and fortunately he stopped, but without thinking, like I was in America, I slammed on his hood like this, and she's yelling at me, "This is Indonesia, get out of the street." You know,
yeah,
there was
but
there,
yeah,
there's
but
cultures,
yeah.
different things that
Yeah.
she liked about it, because seriously, you step out in the street, everybody stops or the police will arrest you.
Okay. Not only culture shock, but Hani, I do remember in your first years, and then you came back to Indonesia, you told me, aduh, Fah, aku capek ngomong bahasa Inggris terus. Like, I'm so tired of speaking in English. Nobody speaks bahasa Indonesia.
You did say
I
that.
remember,
Yes.
yeah, I remember when I came to New Hampshire, you say that I'm so happy that I can speak bahasa Jawa, that I can speak Japanese, and can, you know, can have somebody to speak bahasa Jawa.
Yes.
And because
Yes.
it's so exhausting to speak in the second language all the time, right?
Okay, so this is the thing. Okay.
Yeah.
This is just a tips for you guys. When you learn a language, try to think in the language, because otherwise there will be a translating process in here, and that will be tiring.
Yeah, that's exhausting, right? Yeah,
Yes,
that's right.
yes. So when you think in the language, for example, just, you know, easy practice in the morning. Instead, what do you do in the morning? Brush teeth, right? Take shower, right? Instead of Monday, you say, in your mind, take
I'm
shower.
taking a shower.
And you see this, a banana. Instead of, oh, when you see a banana, your mind will say, okay. But you will say, oh, pisang. No, don't say pisang. Oh, banana. Okay, so it's, you're thinking in the language.
Yeah.
That's,
It's-
yes. And then also when you see something, or you see, or you watch the news, okay? Oh, instead of, penyiarnya rambutnya hitam. Jangan bilang gitu. Oh, the anchor has black hair.
Okay.
But I am
Uh-huh.
lucky because I live here and I have no choice. I have to speak English.
Yeah, that is lucky, right? Some people consider
Yes.
lucky if you have a lot of Indonesian friends, but actually it's not that lucky because you cannot you don't have anything you don't have the force to
Right.
speak in English. I consider myself lucky to stay in Indiana because not many Indonesians are there. So I have to speak English all the time because you know my friends are
And-
from
No,
everywhere.
actually, I want to invite Miss Eva to my class to encourage my Ibu group. You know, how can Miss Eva speak very good English even though she doesn't live in America? Yes, she she studied in America, but it's only what, 2 years. But
Yeah.
before that, she already speaks very good English. So I would like to encourage my Ibu
I would
group.
love to come to your class.
Yeah.
Okay.
My Ibu group is very enthusiastic.
But she's right about,
Oh,
Mhm.
she's right
I would
about
love.
thinking, thinking in the head, because that's my problem with Bahasa. Like when I earlier said, I used to say, saya bahasa tidak bagus. And Hani said, no,
Bahasa
bahasa
saya.
saya tidak bagus. But see, I was thinking in English,
Yeah.
not in the
So
language.
we actually have that discussion in class several times, right, guys? We're talking. We call it transfer. We call it negative transfer because people not mix, put different order because of the influence of their L1. Oh, these guys are familiar with this. we have a lot of discussions about this. Okay, so we have
So when we're in Indonesia,
yeah.
I'm like this.
yeah. Okay, so
I'm
we have
glued to her.
another question
Questions.
from Lutfiana for both of you. Wait, she cannot ask you directly because she has a problem with the microphone. How do you accommodate the learners with different learning abilities and from different background? Yeah. How do you
You
accommodate?
want to go first?
Yeah. In my case, the music is the equalizer. So their backgrounds, they're usually Americans or, all listening all the time on their phones or whatever. So the background, in that sense of music being something that I can teach, opens it up. Where the problem comes in is if the parents never played an instrument, they just listen to music and that kind of stuff, or go to concerts. And I have a child that would like to do an instrument. They're not going to get a lot of encouragement from home. So I have to be the encourager and make them feel comfortable that you can do this. See, I can do this. They can do this. I'll show them other kids who may be a year or two older than them that have started. So the background, they may not get that encouragement at home, but in the school and in the program that I had, 90% of the school, mostly 88 to 90% of the school every year was in band. Actually had more kids in band than were on sports, which in America is backwards. So the environment within the school negated or made null and void what was at home if somebody didn't have that. Does that explain a little bit? Whoever asked the question?
Fitria Lutfia, right?
Lutfiana, I guess. Lutfiana.
Lutfiana.
Okay. Okay,
And it
maybe
comes-
maybe we, yeah.
And it comes down to, again, what I said to the other gentleman. If they know, kids are so sharp, they know if you care or don't care. Or if you're phone, you know, what I have a phrase I grew up with in Chicago, phony baloney. And they're just, the younger the child, sometimes the older ones, junior high, 13, 14 and into high school years, it takes a little longer because their antennas are up. Are you a phony or are you real? Do you really care or you're just doing a job? And therein, I've said it before here ad nauseum, that they know if you care and if you're real and you're not. If you're just doing a job, and that's the thing I always thought was neat. I always liked meeting people, and I love people. And with the kids, and they would know, gee, just ask them, how are you today? Oh, you had a bad time. What was that? Oh, blah, blah. What's in your lunch today?
Okay. I think this is related to, I think you guys remember we talk about affective filter, how some things can motivate the students or can create, I don't know, affection on the students. Yeah. Yeah. So I think the keyword is care. Yeah. Yeah. But Hany, please.
I can share something else too with the adult learning literacy program. I think the reason when I did the interview with them, usually the interviewer will ask you about, what's your strengths and what's your weaknesses. But they didn't ask me, but I just volunteered to tell them that, more information about myself. I said, I'm not a native speaker and I don't have a formal education in English or ESL. I said, and Miss Glenna said, sometimes being non-native speaker is better. And I found it true because, I started from the stage where they are now. Right? So I can be the inspiration for them. Hey, if that brown girl can speak English, I can too, right? And then also because my accent is not really English, probably it's easier for them to understand, like
not be intimidated.
Yes, for example, last Wednesday we were talking about Christmas because Christmas is coming, and everybody comes from different cultures. So Miss Glenna asked them about, Christmas celebration in their country. So and then she asked Andre from Ukraine, and because she read that in Ukraine they celebrate Christmas on December 7th. Oh no, January 7th instead of yes, instead because they are Orthodox.
They're Orthodox.
They're Orthodox. Because yes. So and Miss Glenna asked him, Andre, when do you celebrate Christmas? And he said, can you repeat again? He didn't get it. He didn't understand. And so, when do you celebrate Christmas? And still didn't get it. So finally, with my accent, non-English accent, I said, Andre, very carefully and very slowly, I said, Andre, when do you celebrate Christmas? Oh,
he gets you. It's very interesting, but Hany, we have this discussion last week. You guys remember, especially for class C and B, we talk about native speakerism. that many people use them as the standard of success, but then you know there is but it's not something that you know, like they should not be the standard of success. Like if I'm talking in English, I don't have to sound like Bill, right? I don't have to
Oh,
sound like
thank
you.
God.
As long as people
Alhamdulillah, you don't sound
understand
like
me.
Bill.
Yeah, so the idea of native speakerism, and one of the questions that I give to students is, what is the strength of non-native speaker teacher compared to the native speaker teacher? And yeah, this is the answer, guys. That's the quiz from last week. This is the answer. The answer is that because we have the experience, we can be the role model. Yeah, this is exactly what we talked about last week about native speaker, but for class A we will discuss it next week. Yeah. All right. So bocoran ya. Okay,
More questions?
do we have more questions? It's already 9 o'clock. I
Yeah,
guess
don't be
I
shy.
guess, yeah, okay.
Have you had breakfast, guys?
I
Let
don't
me
think
bre-
they have
oh, yeah.
breakfast.
No.
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 Okay, yeah. Okay, so I think we can wrap this. Oh, do we
Oh, no problem.
no problem. Thank you. Oh, just saying thank you. Thank you for the answer for both of you. All right. Well, guys, it's already 9 o'clock. I guess Miss Hany and also Mr. Bill need to get some rest. And you guys need to get some breakfast. It's been a blast. Yeah, I really love these discussions. I hope we can have this, I don't know, every year. Or
Yeah.
every yeah.
We'll be happy to, we'll be happy to be
Yeah,
here
we'll
with
try
you
it.
again. And we really,
Yeah.
I don't know you, but I really enjoy this.
I really enjoy this too.
I cannot
Yes,
speak
she
for